All right, today we're checking out the Powerful Lithium 72V R-Spec Elite Pro Battery for the Surron. Sully's in the shed again.
Sully's in the shed.
This is a very exciting new product from Powerful Lithium. Can't recommend Powerful Lithium enough. He is a really cool guy, really knowledgeable. We've used a lot of his batteries for our recent builds, the Box 2, the Ego mini bike. Since we just upgraded our Surron with the TM25 torque motor and the TC1000 controller, we figured we should get a battery that should fulfill the incredible potential of those parts.
Definitely interested to see the real world power of this. I'm sure it'll be far more than the TM25 is capable of putting out. This battery would be a really, really good partner with the TM40, the 40 kilowatt, 50 kilowatt motor that is for the LBX.
This battery is definitely, over-spec for the parts we have, but if you decide to upgrade later, still use the same battery. And also, if you have a more powerful battery and you're not, using the full discharge, that means that you're not stressing it out.
Always double up on the discharge.
All right, let's open this guy.
Yeah, let's check it out.
I really love how V packages their batteries.
It's packed very neatly, very tight. You're not worried about any of your stuff getting damaged on the way. Ooh, nice little box, bag thing, whatever.
These are called hard cases.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so yes, this looks like a very fancy charger. So we got a bunch of different connecting cables over on this side with a big old Powerful Lithium sticker. Look at that. Very nice, very nice. All the cables for the charger, the adapters for the charger, input and I'm assuming output there. Nice little digital display, little cooling fan. I have this upside down.
Is this a variable rate or what?
Yeah, so it's gonna be probably amp and voltage. And let's open up this big box here. So again, tons of bubble wrap. Okay. Here she is.
A high carbon steel enclosure. It's also powder coated black, as you could see. We also have some directions in the back here. We got the dual discharge here with the QS8 connectors. So there's a display. You can see the percentage and the voltage. When they ship it, it's usually low for safety reasons. Over here is the charging port, XT60. And then we also have this triple stitched riveted heavy duty grab handle, right? So the handle is such an important thing for these bikes. When you're lifting the battery out of the bike, this is the thing that usually wears down. Smart BMS with Bluetooth, and it also uses MOLYcell P50B cells.
We got this very 3D printed piece here for the extension for the battery lid. They do include aluminum spacers. All the other companies that you get batteries from, they come with plastic ones. That saves you $40, $50, $60, $80 depending on where you buy them from. We have our battery base plate, also 3D printed.
We may have to change the leads.
Hopefully we can find one or make one tomorrow and give it a go.
One debt to society later.
So now we're going to charge the Powerful Lithium R-Spec Elite Pro Battery with the custom charger. You'll find this on the website.
You got to get to the display and you got to set it up for the battery that you're charging. So in this case, we have a 72 volt. So we have it set for 84 volt. We have it set at 10 amp. And in order to change it on the display, it'll highlight whatever you have selected in blue. So we have that QR code selected there. So now we're on the 84 volt. If you hold the center button, you can change that to whatever you want. Hold it again to set it. Same thing with the amps. Hold the center and then you can change it whatever amperage you want up to, I believe, 50, but you need to be on 220 to utilize the full capabilities of this charger. So now this is all set and ready to go and ready to plug into our battery. We are able to charge this through the discharge port. It also came with this adapter to charge it like a normal battery.
All right, so it's plugged in and on the top bar here, it says it's charging, and you can also monitor the display on the actual battery over here. We're almost at 100%. It's still balancing cells right now. We did message V for some more information. Because it uses MOLYcell P50Bs, he said that it could take up to 250 amps for charging.
But the BMS has it limited to 90 amps.
To 90 amps, right. We're never really going to use 250 amps when charging, probably for discharging. We'll get into it, but it just means that these cells can handle a lot more stress than cheaper cells. Now, he did mention that if you wanted to charge this even faster, you can get another one of these chargers.
If you're charging on a house plug, it is 25 amp if you run the dual chargers through the discharge cables here. And then if you run it on 220 volt, like a EV charger, or if you have a 220 plug, like your washer dryer or something like that, dishwasher or whatever, you can use that. And if you charge them both, I believe it's 45 amps per charger, up to 90 amps to charge your battery. Super fast. I believe he said it's about an hour and a half from dead to full. Yeah, so with one plug, they recommend to stay under 300 amp discharge, which is around 21 kilowatt. The motor is rated for 25 kilowatt, so it's not too far off. enough, but it doesn't say that you can't run more than 300. It just says utilize the dual if you can. And to my understanding, the dual connectors is just to disperse the heat so that the connectors aren't getting as hot. Okay, so this battery can discharge up to 600 amps, which equates to being just over 43 kilowatts. I would absolutely love to pair this with the TM40 motor and see what kind of power we could achieve.
So yeah, plenty of options, plenty of ways to use this battery, and I think this will last a long time, especially with this charger, all the options to charge it. We are at, what's our percentage? 100%, 83.1 volts, 84 volts. This is going to give us plenty of range when we do our range test. And so yeah, now we are going to put it inside of the bike. You want to make sure that the enclosure in the frame is just completely free from any obstacles that would get in the way. This bike has been modified a few times now, so the foam covering over here on this plate is gone. We also changed the bottom plate. This is what the stock plate looks like. So we had this changed out for a while now, so we didn't actually have to do that step. It is necessary to get enough clearance. I also had some lighting, some wires over here that were running up along this part of the frame, so I had to get that tucked in. You just need all the clearance for the battery to fit.
Yep, and also make sure that if you have bolts in here, that they're not sticking out this side because it will scratch up the battery.
You don't want to get the battery leads pinched on any part of the frame, so just be aware. Getting to the breaker is going to be a little tricky once the battery is inside.
It's really snug, and when you get down to the bottom, it wants to like sit on this part of the frame here. I don't know if you can see that where I'm pointing. It wants to sit on like this part of the frame on the other side. So you just got to make sure that you guide it from both the top and the bottom without pinching your hand in there. Then kind of guide it from the bottom. And see, it's getting stuck on the frame there. Almost there. All right, now we're in. So yeah, he definitely designed this battery to take up the entire battery compartment, which is super, super, super nice. You know you're using all the real estate properly.
Another thing that we did was we changed the stock super connector with the QS8 connector because obviously that has a better discharge, can handle heat a little bit better, and that's what the battery came with. Those are the leads, so we just swapped those out, plug it in. Then what you want to do is tuck the wiring underneath the handle. I also covered one of the QS8 connectors with some electrical tape, just so it's not exposed. And then to get to the breaker, there you have a little bit of space right here. And if you have a tool like a flathead, you want to be really careful because the switch is just made out of plastic, right? So just slowly push it to the on position. There you go. Breaker is on. That's good. Now we just close the lid. It's a very tall battery, so this is basically what the bike looks like. A lot of space up here. The reason it looks so exaggerated is because I have my lowering brackets. I like my bike lowered since I'm a short rider. It may look a little bit strange, but who cares? It's your bike. You'll have plenty of range, plenty of power.
Powerful Lithium 72v R-Spec Elite Pro Battery for the Surron is built like a tank with a high carbon steel enclosure, powder coated in black for durability. It's got a triple stitched riveted heavy duty grab handle that actually feels solid when you lift it. Internally, it's powered by Molicel P50B cells, delivering fast charging, high output, and longer life cycles. You're looking at 72 volts, 50 amp hours, and a smart BMS with Bluetooth to keep tabs on your stats. Discharge is handled by dual QS8 cables rated at 600 amps or 43.2 kilowatts, while charging runs through an integrated XT60 port. It's serious power packed into a rugged build for aftermarket motors and controllers. The Powerful Lithium Elite Charger is designed for high-performance builds running 16S to 22S battery setups. It features adjustable voltage and current, so you can dial in the charge rate that works best for your system. With 3 active cooling fans and 2 large heat sinks, this charger stays cool even under heavy use. It delivers up to 92.6 volts and can push 25 amps on 110 volts AC or double that to 50 amps on 220 volts AC. Whether you're using XT90 or QS8 connectors, this charger is built to keep up with demanding battery setups.
We got the tunes kind of dialed in where we want them, close enough. We're just going to kind of go over our first impressions on this thing. We have it at a very moderate tune for this battery, so we're definitely not pushing it to any extreme here. So, me being a stunt rider, let's do a wheelie. So, off rip, you can tell right away there's a lot of weight in the front of the bike, but I ride with a 60/60, so I'm kind of used to the weight. This is still a little bit heavier than mine. Mine's in a rubber wrapped fiberglass case, to where this is a steel case. So there is a bit more weight there. It is about the same height, but it definitely uses more of the real estate in here. I mean, it's in there so good. I mean, there is no way this thing's rattling around at all. It's a very quality battery. You can definitely tell that he put a lot of time and effort into making it. So let's try a couple different types of wheelies and kind of just talk through it. So we did the sit down. You can definitely tell how heavy it is, but let me try one more. I mean, it's still very stable. And with that extra weight, it almost kind of helps make it even more stable. So, going into a knee knock, able to perform circles with ease. Makes it feel more like a real motorcycle because it's, you know, heavier now and less like a toy like it felt before. It was kind of a little light. Yeah, again, you can feel the weight in the bars. You really got to drop it back like to balance point to get that weightlessness. Like where before you could kind of float into it and be kind of semi-weightless. It's pretty much like either you're getting sandbagged or you're not. Yeah. But again, me being kind of used to it, it just means you got to drop back and stay off the throttle more and float past balance point or at balance point. Not too much different than my 6060, but it pushes a crap ton more power. The dual connector is something I wish more high power batteries would have on them. Let's take it up a little hill here. Try to avoid the water at all costs. No problem going up the hills. Wish Rick didn't have these tires on here, but you win some, you lose some. After all of the times we've changed something on this bike, this has definitely got to be the best it's felt for me. I don't know if Rick agrees with that statement, but the weight of everything is definitely more. I'd say we probably added 15 pounds to this bike with all the upgrades, maybe 20. Honestly, I don't know, but it's definitely a much heavier bike. But other than that, everything is just freaking awesome. I mean, this is about as heavy as this bike gets, honestly. And even with that, even on a low power tune, which I'm only running, I believe, 8 kilowatts in sport, and then Rick's is set to 6.5 kilowatts. I mean, even with just that, I mean, this motor, you can definitely feel the difference in the low end. Like, there's a lot more torque to this motor, and it's not like struggling to pick it up anymore, to where like you were just wrenching on the throttle. Even at the same kilowatt, like the same tune, with a stock motor, you're wrenching on the throttle at the beginning to get this thing to pop up. To where this, I mean, that's just throttle. I mean, it pops right up, no issue. So, yeah, no, I mean, this is probably the best his bike has been. So, cool. Let's head back and I'll kick it back off to Rick.
Yeah, just sitting on the bike. The bike is already lowered, and because of all the weight up front, we also have a torque motor on the bottom, TM25. The bike is actually sitting even lower than where I had it. That's just a preference. I probably have to change the spring rate in the back, but I do like how it sits. I mean, it feels heavier, but it also feels more substantial. I feel like I, will have a better center of gravity, obviously. For my short legs. The weight is different, the power to weight ratio. Obviously there's more power, and you want more power when the bike is heavier as you add components, right? So I could definitely feel the front, when you steer, right? When you lean into it, you feel the bike wanting to kind of like tip that way, and with very little power, right? It's just kind of doing it because of gravity. But with that said, I mean, the discharge, we have a pretty subtle tune. It's on eco mode. It's about 6.5 kilowatts, right? But it feels like more, right? Because we have the Torp TC1000, we have the TM25 paired with this Powerful Lithium R-Spec. I mean, feels like a completely different bike. This doesn't feel like 6.5 kilowatts. It feels like way more, right? It just feels way better. It feels like a new bike, right? I could try my feet down balance point wheelies here. And yeah, definitely feel the weight up front, but because of the response, because of the weight distribution, it feels more balanced, to be honest. Obviously, until you get the wheel, you know, to balance point, the bike is going to feel heavy, but it still has that kind of weightless feeling once you get into it. I'm saying that as a, you know, someone who does not stunt ride. I'm just saying it as someone who can at least get the bike to balance point and feel how the weight, you know, how the bike is balanced in this position. And that feels really good. Yeah. I thought I would, you know, be a little, I don't know, hesitant about having a bike this heavy, or the Surron this heavy, but yeah, this is great. You can, you know, even with the stronger components, you could still learn how to wheelie on this thing, for sure.
Previously, we had a 60-tooth sprocket on there. We put it back down to a 48-tooth to try and replicate more of a stock gearing, even though technically a 42 is stock-ish for a 16 rear tire. We got the battery almost all the way full. It's at like 96-ish%. And then I changed a few of the settings. I turned the field weakening all the way up so we can get the most top speed out of it. Battery current max, motor current max. It says 26.5 estimated kilowatts. We got the draggy here, so we're gonna be able to actually test and see the 0 to 30, 0 to 60, and all that good stuff. So yeah, looking forward to it. Wish me luck.
3, 2, 1, go.
Woo! I'm not crying, you're crying. Holy crap, this thing is ridiculous. Ugh. All right, let's see here. 3, 2, 1. So just got done with the speed test on this thing. Holy crap. I have the throttle curve and the throttle like tuned kind of like mellow. And this thing is anything but. But holy crap, I mean, 26 kilowatt is, it's insane. Insane. If that's even what I hit, I don't even know. We're gonna have to, maybe in another video, we'll do a recording of the Torp app and see what kilowatt it actually peaks at, and see if I'm even using all the power, because when you're doing a launch, there is no way you're gonna keep it full throttle. Full throttle launch is not gonna happen. You are gonna loop over backwards. You need an extended swing arm for that. It is insane. But I bet with some 19s on this and a 42-tooth sprocket, 100 all day long. 100 all day long with the setup. I think I hit almost 80, if not 80, on that top speed. And on the second pull, I popped the breaker. So yeah, we know she's working. She's pushing the power, that's for dang sure. So touching on Powerful Lithium, the battery, oh my gosh, is this battery a powerhouse? It actually did super good. I didn't feel it like throttling down or anything. I didn't feel it break a sweat running the 26.5 kilowatt. We were only running the one discharge port, so I didn't stay in it too long. I was keeping an eye on the motor and controller temperatures the whole time. Nothing got out like crazy. I can't wait to see this battery with a TM40. That would be insane to see this battery actually push to its full potential.
Now we are gonna do our range test. We got Paul over here, math guy.
Yeah.
Sully's probably gonna ride it. We're not gonna go super far, but we are going to go out of our normal route. We're actually gonna read the display on the actual battery.
82.9.
82.9 volts, and that's reading as 100%. I'll also be running the Strava app to record the average speed and the approximate amount of distance covered. So let's do it. All right, we're at the midway point of our range test with the Powerful Lithium. Average speed, 39.4 miles per hour. Distance, about 10.1 miles. Starting voltage was 82.9 volts, and our midpoint voltage is 79.8 volts. Doing pretty well considering Sully was doing about 40 miles per hour average speed. Anyway, we'll run the numbers once we get back and kind of have a real-world calculation on the total range.
One debt to society later.
All right, we're back from our range test with the Powerful Lithium 72 volt R-Spec Elite Pro. In our Strava app, our total distance was about 20.2 miles. Average speed was about 26 miles per hour, and our top speed was about 46 miles per hour. And yeah, so we got some numbers. We got Paul here. He crunched some of the numbers.
With the stunting and the switching back and forth, we started out with 100%. We ended at 67%, which is a usage of 1,188 watt hours. That calculated out to 58.81 watt hours per mile, which gives us a potential range on a full charge with that style of riding of 61.21 miles.
With more typical riding, you'd see far more than that. I'd say at least 70, 75 miles.
No range anxiety, tons of power. So yeah, range test looks good. What more can I say about Powerful Lithium? I mean, they make great products. V's a great guy. If you need a battery for the Surron, I don't know if it's the most all-around battery, but it's definitely a step above, a lot of 72 volt options out there.